Hey, welcome back! This week's video is a giant version of a wagon wheel. Let's get started. First, put the butter, wholemeal flour and oatmeal in a large bowl. Use your fingertips to rub the butter into the flour and oatmeal until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. Then add the brown sugar and baking soda and whisk this together well. Then add the milk and mix until a dough forms, and if you need to, add extra milk. Halve this and then press into 2 baking trays to make 2 large biscuits. Bake at 180 degrees Celsius for about 15 to 20 minutes or until they're golden brown. Set aside to cool while making the marshmallow filling. And I'm making marshmallow fluff for the filling instead of one big marshmallow because I think it'll be easier to work with and I don't really want to use gelatin, but if you prefer you can make one big marshmallow. To make this, add the water, sugar and corn syrup into a saucepan. Simmer over medium heat until the mixture reaches 115 degrees Celsius. And it's best to use a candy thermometer, but if you don't have one it should take roughly 10 to 15 minutes. Once the sugar syrup reaches about 90 degrees Celsius, add the egg whites to a mixer and whip for a few minutes, then add the cream of tartar. Keep mixing until soft peaks form and then keep the mixer on and slowly drizzle in the sugar syrup. Keep mixing for about 8 minutes on high, and then lastly add the vanilla and mix for another minute or so until stiff peaks form. If you're not assembling right away, place this in an airtight container in the fridge until you are. When it's time to assemble, simply melt some dark or milk chocolate over a double boiler until melted. It's important to note that if you're using real chocolate then you'll need to temper it, and I'll leave a link to a video that explains what tempering is really well, but if you don't want to temper then use fake or compound chocolate like I did. And fake chocolate will have vegetable fat listed in the ingredients as opposed to cocoa butter like real chocolate, but if you're still not sure what I'm talking about then watch the video and hopefully that will explain it better. Anyway, I brushed some melted chocolate on one side of each of the biscuits. This is really optional and I really just did it to make them stronger so that they didn't crumble or break when I was handling them. So once the chocolate is set, place one of the biscuits side down and spread over a generous amount of marshmallow flour. And it probably goes without saying, but of course you can use the stuff from the jar if you like, I just don't have it where I live, so yeah. And then spread over some raspberry jam, and I microwaved mine for about 10 seconds just to make this a little easier. Then press down the other layer of biscuit. Take a spoon or knife and scrape off any excess jam or marshmallow fluff that's spilling out of the edges, and then move this onto a cooling rack that's at least a few centimeters off the ground. Then just pour over the chocolate and use a spatula to push the chocolate over all the edges. Allow this to set completely and then flip over and repeat for the other side. And lastly flip over once again and pour any remaining chocolate on the top, but this time don't push it over the edges, just take a knife and just make a sort of back and forth pattern over the top to make it look a bit neater. Let that set completely and then you're done. Just dig in and enjoy. So that would be the end of the video, except I decided to make a sliced version of this as well, because as cool as a giant wagon wheel is, I figured people might want an easier version. So if that's what you want to do, start by making a half quantity of the biscuit base, then press this into a lined and greased tray, poke some holes with a fork, and then bake for 15 to 20 minutes. Let this cool completely, then spread over some raspberry jam. Then spread over a half quantity of the marshmallow fluff. And lastly make some chocolate ganache, and you could just use melted chocolate like the biscuit, but I think ganache is better because it's smoother and it's easier to cut into. And to make ganache is really easy, all you need to do is heat some cream, and I did this in the microwave, and then you just want to add your dark choc chips and let that sit for a couple of minutes and then stir it until it's nice and silky and smooth. And then just pour that over the top and spread around evenly. Put back back in the fridge for about 10 minutes to set, and then you're done. Oh, and run your knife under hot water before you slice to make it easier. Anyway, that's it. Both of these were really good. It's just up to you which one you want to make. But either way, thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you next week.